riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me as always, co-host extraordinaire, Harry to my Hendersons, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
I am pretty grossed out.
That is correct. I will take what does this album make you feel for 100, Alex. Tim, what's got you so grossed out this week?
Well, we've been listening to the song Wow, I Can Get Sexual Too by the band Say Anything, released January 30th, 2007 as an ill-advised, non-charting single. Technically, it was released a few years earlier on a bonus track for some album. Doesn't matter. This was a suggestion by the Let's Get Down to Business podcast review of Disney movies, Panic Boy Romance, and Casey, A.K. Power Ranger. Shame on all three of you.
Tim, I am curious. Do you hate this song?
I do, Garrett. I really hate this song, and I'm terrified to ask you, because you like to play contrarian, you like to play devil's advocate, you like to be gross, you like to be a monster, you like to that Rolling Stones song.
No, okay, now I don't like this at all.
Yeah, so if you don't like this, this might be the last episode of the show. I'm just going to throw that out there. Garrett, do you hate this song?
Knowing that you have threatened to end the show if I don't hate it, and knowing simultaneously that it is my singular goal to, what's the right way to put this, oppose you on almost any and all views, this is a tough call. Putting you aside for a minute, focusing entirely on the song, music, band, and vocals, yes, Tim, I very much hate this song.
Oh, thank God.
I was about to just jump way ahead of myself. But yes, I hate this song. But I'm curious, if you hate it and I hate it, did you hate it before this week? That is to say, Tim, had you ever heard of this song or this band prior to this week?
I had never heard the song. I had never heard of the song. I had never heard of the band. I had heard of the movie, but I think that's a different thing. This is completely foreign to me. What about you, though, Gary? Is this the first time you have gotten sexual?
I don't care for the way you phrase that. No, of course it's not the first time I've been sexual. Fuck you. Not even going to dignify that. Have I heard this song before? No. I, just like you, had never heard of this song, never heard of this band, and frankly, Tim, I don't know how something this bad snuck under the radar for this long between the two of us. Well, that's your history. That's my history. Pretty much the exact same. Before we can talk about the song itself, we need to understand a little bit about the people that created it. So, Tim, take us on a journey, however brief you see fit. Who is Say Anything, and how did Wow, I Can Get Sexual Too come to be?
Well, it's not going to be brief at all, Garrett. The story of Say Anything is mostly the story of Maxim Adam Bemis, who prefers to be called Max Bemis, but I'm going to call him Maxim.
It's got to be Bemis.
It's Bemis.
It's Bemis.
He was born in New York City 23 years after the birth of Why I Hate This Album's own Garrett Harvey in 1984, but his family moved to the LA area pretty soon thereafter, where he took piano lessons and decided he wanted to be a musician. He went to a very fancy private high school called Windward. It was the same school that Jacob Dylan went to, Shaquille O'Neal's son Sharif, Anna Paquin of True Blood fame, another one of Garrett's favorites, and Jason Schwartzman.
Yep, all that's accurate.
The band Say Anything was formed by a group of friends from that fancy private school and Beverly Hills High School. They did record and self-release, I believe, 2 EPs and an LP while still in high school. So they kind of took it very seriously, given that this isn't probably going to last past high school.
I also get the impression that they had very connected parents that allowed them to do this.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, they're a bunch of rich kids. Even if they don't have connected parents, I'm sure they can afford studio time and whatnot.
That is the only barrier.
Maxim then went to Sarah Lawrence College for a few months in 2002, but he dropped out to do more pop punk.
I don't want to sound out of touch. I thought Sarah Lawrence was a girls' school.
I think it's a liberal arts college. college that now allows men to attend it.
Really?
Yeah, you could still go right now. You could go to Sarah Lawrence College.
Back to School 2, starring Garrett and Tim.
No, not me. I don't want any part
You're
of
in
this.
the movie. You're my driver.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
You are also like a fixer, and you're always at the party.
I don't like how you're painting me here. Anyway, the same year, 2002, Say Anything released the EP Menorah Majora, and Drive-Thru Records, in an attempt to woo Maxim, called Maxim the next Bob Dylan.
That's gross.
Yeah. Mr. Brett at Epitaph Records recorded a song with them, and then they signed to Doghouse Records in 2003.
Mr. Brett?
Mr. Brett Gurwitz.
Oh, okay.
It's like you don't even know music. They recorded some new sounds, calling it math rock, indie rock, and theatrical pomp. Garrett, they called it theatrical pomp.
Oh, pomp. Like
No, like pomp and circumstance. Theatrical pomp and circumstance.
Right,
anyway,
isn't that what I just did?
I don't think so. They wanted to record a rock
What's pomp
opera.
and circumstance?
I don't know.
That's what I just did.
No, I don't think so. I'm just not hearing it. I'm sorry.
I'm going to strike you down with the hands of Zeus.
They wanted to record a rock opera with a full script and a bunch of characters. They were going to call it Zona Zona, but Maxim started to feel the pressure of getting all this done and went a little crazy. He was under the belief that he was being secretly filmed for a non-existent mockumentary, and that led him to, quote-unquote, walk the streets of Brooklyn thinking he was being filmed while encountering friends who were actually strangers.
I don't know what that means.
He was wandering around, terrified that everyone around him was filming and talking to strangers as if they were friends.
And he is not admitted to doing copious amounts of cocaine?
Not at this point.
Okay, because it sounds like a cocaine-induced hallucination.
Yep, that project got scrapped, as you would imagine, and the band began working on Is a Real Boy, which Maxim said his plan was to outdo the work of both Andy Warhol and Jesus, so 50% success. That album was released in 2004 to pretty positive reviews, although notably not as positive reviews as Andy Warhol or Jesus received. And then the band began touring. They signed with J Records, owned by Sony, and Maxim began having what was dubbed paranoid delusions right here in Austin, Texas. They canceled a 6-week headlining tour, and then a bunch of people quit the band, which really becomes a trend. Wikipedia lists 18 ex-members of this band, not including Maxim or touring members in 18 years. So this is a real, I'm not even going to mention anyone else that's in this band, because this is just, people are coming in and out all over the place.
Yeah, it's 100% Bemis, and there's only one common theme. Nobody likes him.
Yeah, he's a real Axl Rose kind of character. So after he has these paranoid delusions, there's an incident where he goes to a restaurant and just slowly starts pouring a bowl of soup out one spoonful at a time onto the floor. He gets in a fight outside, and finally an off-duty policeman brings him to a mental hospital. This results obviously in canceling the tour, and he goes into rehab in Houston. J Records re-releases Is a Real Boy. Presumably they thought he was just never going to make music again, and so they may as well milk what they already had, and they put out a bonus CD, Was a Real Boy, possibly thinking he was going to kill himself, which featured the song of the week. He gets out of the mental institution, or possibly rehab, and they tour with Dashboard Confessional, but he turns down Warped Tour because, and I'm quoting here, Maxim did not feel he was emotionally ready for Warped Tour.
Listen, we are the last people to make fun of anybody with mental problems. You're listening to two people with a whole host of mental problems. But what does that mean?
I don't know. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter what you have. You are good enough for Warped Tour.
Exactly. Maximus? Beams, you're good enough for Warped Tour. And I do not like this song, or you, or your band.
But again, it's Warped Tour. Who gives a shit?
Well, if you're in good enough shape to tour and perform, I just want to know, what's that delta? What's that chasm you have to cross to take it all the way to the big stage, the Warped Tour? Is it the touring plus the extreme sports that accompany Warped Tour?
Maybe he thought he was going to have to skateboard a lot.
Oh, he might have been worried he was going to have to drop in on those verts. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, his 540 is probably just garbage. He's not the fittest guy. I think you're onto something, Tim.
That's true. They released the Song of the Week as a single in 2007. They did a bunch of headlining tours tours, including a MySpace co-headlining tour with a band called Hello Goodbye. Then they released their third album called In Defense of the Genre in October 2007. Maxim explained the album saying, "I want the record to be the Joshua Tree with balls on laughing gas."
Huh?
Sorry, perhaps you didn't catch all the words that I said, Garrett.
Okay.
I want the record to be the Joshua Tree with balls on laughing gas.
Okay, so I get the first bit. What is balls on laughing gas? You get high on nitrous oxide.
Step one.
And take your balls out.
Okay, so step one,
Get the
high.
balls out.
No,
high.
no. Step one, high. Step two,
Thank you.
Get the balls involved. Step three, you've made Joshua Tree.
Better.
Well, yeah, because you got that balls on laughing gas. Yes.
Nailed it.
After that album, they actually did the full run of the 2008 Vans Warped Tour. And Maxim started doing this occasional online store where internet people could essentially send him a couple of sentences or a short story, and he would write a song based on that. This was intended to be kind of just a running thing, but obviously that's not going to work because there's a lot of people out there and you got to write each one of them that write in a song. So it worked about as well as you would imagine, but this does occasionally pop back up again. So Garrett, if you want Maxim Bemis,
It's got to be Bemis.
to write a song for you, to write a song for me, to write a song for the show.
Yes.
He'll do it.
What if I give him the lyrics and I say, write the music?
Probably.
Like, how much input do I have on this song?
I don't know. We'll have to go to that website.
Pass.
They released a self-titled album in 2009, again with new musicians. 2012, they release Anarchy My Dear. In 2013, they release a rarities compilation called All My Friends Are Enemies. Also in 2013, Maxim starts writing comic books.
He might be great at that.
Yeah. The first was called Polarity. That was about Tim Woods, who has bipolar disorder. And it also featured an EP as a companion to the comic, which I have to say, that's a real Garrett move.
What?
Coming up with a crazy story about a Tim who has some sort of brain disorder and matching it to music.
Oh, I mean, yes.
Okay.
That's literally a thing I've done.
Yeah. I mean, the difference is that Fox has optioned that as a TV series that was never made, but I still think Tim Bortley has a shot with Fox.
I don't know about Fox. I think I'm ready to...
No, because they bought The Passage. They're not going to make a good version of it, but they'll make a version of it. While we're on the topic of The Passage, read The Passage. Don't watch the Fox show.
Yeah, read The Passage. Good call, Tim. Yeah, don't watch the show, though. And I love Mark Paul Gosselaar. Who do you think would do the most justice to Tim Bortley? I think Netflix.
Netflix is good. You could do it an animated thing on Hulu or Netflix.
What do you mean animated? Like a movie?
Like a show, like a couple seasons.
Interesting. I didn't picture it as animation. I'm not opposed.
Well, I just think with animation, you could really do everything the story calls for and it's not prohibitively expensive.
God, now I'm picturing Tim Bortley as more of a classic Western style character, but placed in a techno future of $29.99.
I love your idea for Cowboys in the future. Yes, I'm in. Let's do it.
God. All right, we'll start working on the treatment. Again, I don't think Fox is the right home for this, though. I think a streamer is where it's at.
Okay. In 2014, Maxim released the album Hebrews that had guest appearances on every song, including frequently his wife, as well as Tom DeLonge, the Blink-182 / discoverer of aliens.
Yes.
2015, Maxim wrote a 5-issue Marvel Comics miniseries called The Worst X-Man Ever. Kind of like that.
Do we have any idea who he was?
I assume it was a new character.
Well, sure. I was hoping you might have found out. I do know there's a character named Gold Balls.
It might be Jubilee.
No, Jubilee's not new.
No, I'm saying he might have just written a 5-episode series about Jubilee and called it The Worst X-Man Ever.
You might get some heat. People love Jubilee.
No one loves Jubilee. Listener, if you love Jubilee, don't write in. Just know that you're wrong.
Ooh, I like that. I mean, they are.
Yeah.
Jubilee's terrible.
Of course. She makes fireworks and they don't do anything.
Master your powers.
In 2016, Say Anything released I Don't Think It Is, then signed to Dynalone Records in 2018. Then Maxim came out as bisexual, and then released their final album, at least to this point, called Oliver Appropriate, which was intended to be a sequel to Is a Real Boy, and he described it as, quote, an adult version of the narrator fictionalized on that record who struggles with his own sexuality, leading to a violent conclusion.
No, thank you.
You love violent conclusions.
It's the best kind of conclusion, but
you love violent climaxes.
Not the same, but yes.
In 2019, Maxim did a solo tour, and that is where we are to this day.
Perfect. I mean, do you want to mention, there is a little extra addendum history specific to this song regarding a 2017 announcement.
Oh, what is that?
That he will not play this song anymore.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, he should probably attempt to get this scrubbed from the internet.
Yeah, he's not willing to go that far, but he did announce in 2017 that he would not be playing this song live any longer. It was of a time and a place, and he's not about that anymore.
Wait, was this appropriate in 2007? You know what? We'll get into it.
Let's get into it right now, Tim. Here we go, folks. Say anything's wow, I can get sexual too. In that song.
Not great.
It's so far beyond not great. Tim, what is it?
Musically, it's very standard, just kind of shitty, middle tier pop punk.
Is it pop punk?
I think so. I think that's what I would classify this as. When I say pop punk, I mean Americana era, Offspring, Fly for a White Guy. Whatever that is, it's that.
Okay, that's certainly a decent analog. It vaguely reminds me of Fall Out Boy, that Where Did the Party Go?
Oh, that was so much better. That was so much better.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, well, that song wasn't, I don't want to spoil it yet. We're not to the lyrics yet. For me, kind of sounds like the Bloodhound Gang meets the worst version of Spoon you've ever heard.
I don't hear any of that in here.
You don't hear Bloodhound Gang? I mean, the song is just a simple little drum beat.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot like that Mammal song.
Maybe.
Let me make a bold statement. If you don't understand this, then this episode might not work. This is the Dane Cook of songs.
Yes.
Possibly of bands.
Yeah, I would say more of bands.
I mean more in delivery.
Well, I mean, especially once we get to the music video.
Yeah, he Dane Cooks all over the place. A lot of dance moves.
The vocals are whiny, but
shouty.
Shouty, whiny. I'm not saying he should be punched in the throat.
Ooh,
I'm not saying that. I'm saying no one should ever punch him in the throat. However, it would help his voice.
It would help me a little. I really don't like this.
Yeah.
I'm not wishing ill will on this guy. I really hate this.
It depends if he's still up to this behavior. If so, I do wish ill will on him.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Somebody should stop him.
Did you listen?
Could be us.
Way easy. Did you listen to anything else by this band?
No.
I listened to 3 or 4 other songs just to figure out, like, is this something specific? And I'm going to say something to me. You seem to find more analogs to other pop punk, using the quotey fingers there, folks. But for me, this band sounds in totality as unique as a Smash Mouth. Like, when you ask, like, what is this? Like, I don't know.
Right. I agree, but it's like Smash Mouth in that it comes together to sound kind of like their own thing, but it's like if you take every piece of it apart, it's all somebody else's thing.
I think for me, it's unique, but it is unique like that car Homer designed, where it's just like, well, just because it's unique doesn't mean anybody wants it.
Yeah, that's fair.
The Homer. Oh, God, I'm ruined.
Yeah, I love Danny DeVito.
Yeah. Say his name again?
Danny DeVito.
Okay. Something happened on the last one.
Danny DeVito?
Yeah. We'll check the tapes later. I think a fly went in your mouth.
I mean, that did happen.
I went running like a week ago and I think 4 different flies went down my throat.
So, like, flies have some sort of legend about you in that day.
The world eater.
I mean, okay, so the music is bad. It's certainly not my complaint with this song, and I don't think there's any real reason to dwell on it. It just kind of sucks.
Yeah, let's say this. None of the things we've talked about so far are the reason you and I hate this song.
Yeah.
Those were the good things, folks. Now let's get into it, right? Is there anything else left besides the main issue at hand?
Oh, let's do lyrics.
All right. Do we want to slowly reveal here, Tim, or do we want to give everyone a borderline trigger warning here?
We should do the trigger warning. This gets dark. Our jokes will be dark, but we are not physically capable of making this subject matter any darker than the song has.
That's a great way of putting it. We're going to pretty much give you guys the lyrics, but mostly we're not going to need to comment.
Yeah.
Okay. If I die and go to hell real soon, it will appear to me as this room. And for eternity, I'll lay in bed in my boxers half stoned with a pillow under my head. Okay. He's bored. And if he dies, he feels like hell would be this life on earth that he is so bored with.
Yeah.
And aside from his weird shriek shout delivery, so far I have no problem with the song.
Yeah. Verse 2. I'd be chatting on the interweb. Maggots prey upon the living dead. I had no interest in the things she said. On the phone every day, I'd permanently hit the hay. Hey, this could still be innocent. He's chatting on the interweb. There's sort of the implication here that he's talking to strangers.
And a woman.
Yes, that he's kind of bored with this person. He's not interested in it, and we're going to find out why. But yeah, it seems like he is talking to somebody he doesn't have much in common with for one reason or another. There's also the maggots prey upon the living dead line that seems like it maybe should have gone.
He's the maggot, right?
Well, yes, we don't know that yet, though. But yeah, he is the predator here. But I don't understand why she would be the living dead.
Allow me to say this. It's already over.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Okay, so then we get the chorus. Allow me. I called her on the phone and she touched herself. She touched herself? She touched herself. I called her on the phone and she touched herself. I laughed myself to sleep. Except for it's much whinier and more of a, I called her on the phone and she touched herself. It's really bad, guys.
That's pretty accurate. But this is the filthy, filthy meat of the song. He's having phone sex with somebody. The previous verse would imply that he met her on the internet, so he doesn't know this person IRL, as the kids are saying.
Right. Technically, to this point, though, something feels off, right?
Yes, definitely. But there's
plausible deniability.
Yes, up until this point, he has not admitted to a crime.
Why is he laughing himself to sleep, do you think?
That's what got me, because obviously what he's doing here, she's masturbating as they have phone sex, which is creepy because, as the song will imply, it's not all consenting adults.
Just come right out and say it, don't you?
Yeah.
Right. We don't know that yet, though.
Yes, but the laugh myself to sleep, because he repeats that throughout the song, gets weirder and is vaguely mean-spirited, I think.
Yes, it's almost taunting. I don't think he's interested in her. I think well, let me just go ahead and say it, Tim. It's not a sexual thing. It's a power move.
Possibly. There's some evidence later in the song that he might be into it. But yes, I think that he is
he masturbating? Yes, of course he's masturbating. But what I'm saying is he's in it for the power. Here's the difference. He's not masturbating during the act, Tim. He is bringing her to climax via a phone to a stranger he's met over the internet. Then later, he is masturbating to the fact that he masterminded that fake phone sex.
Okay.
See the difference? Well, he's not aroused by her. He's aroused by his betrayal of her and control.
Okay. So, you really seem to have a handle on this, which is ideal.
It's in the song.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Not his words. Or not...
Yeah, that's fair. Not his words, your words. Yeah, so I think the predatory behavior is at best a goof at her expense.
Yeah, very not cool.
Right. And we will get into this very soon. It becomes obvious very soon that she's underage, right?
Well, we'll see.
Okay. But here's my question, though. I know slut-shaming is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I know sexualizing the underaged is wrong.
Yeah, we're on the same page so far.
Is slut-shaming the underaged wrong?
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's none of our business.
Okay, we'll just leave it alone. Yeah, that's fair. Move right on past it.
None of our fucking business.
Yep. This feels like a Rivers Cuomo move. Like if there was a mention of Asian heritage here, I would swear this was written by Rivers Cuomo.
Oh, sure. I could definitely see him masturbating to a joke he played on a woman earlier in the day.
An Asian woman.
Well, obviously she's Asian, Tim. He's got to get that dick hard.
Okay. You know what? We should play
Allegedly.
the After Dark theme.
No, I love our theme.
I know. Just for a week, because people need a warning right up front. They need to hear the dulcet tones of Derek Caribou and know this one is not for me.
Oh, it sounds like he's orgasming on the intro. It's pretty great. Let's continue. At this rate, I'll be heading for electric chairs. I'm only human with my cross to bear. Okay, so that is why I, of course, believe that he's doing something illegal.
Sure. With those lines, it is clear to the listener this is illegal, and it's also clear that he knows it's wrong.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes it much different for me.
Well, sure, but he has nowhere to lean on and say, oh, I didn't know this was illegal. Yes, you did.
Yeah, it seems to be a big part of the whole thing for you.
Yes. When she described her underwear, I forgot all the rules my rabbi taught me at the old school.
In the old shul.
Excuse me, in the old shul. And this is where I think he might be, he's into something.
Right, and he's got a set of rules that help him from going too far.
Yeah.
Potentially getting himself into trouble.
This is a Dexter situation. The rabbi
he's got a code.
Taught him a code so that he could do the bad thing, but only to bad people maybe, and get away. I don't understand what this song is.
I think
that rabbi should have just turned him right in.
Oh, absolutely. Should have just killed him dead. But
not saying that he should be killed dead, but the rabbi.
Oh, no. But if this character is doing the things that we believe him to be doing, strike him down. So here's what I think is being described in this confession of a soul. When she described her underwear, I forgot all the rules my rabbi taught me in the old shul, means he does this thing with the phone. It never goes beyond the phone, and that keeps him satiated. But when she started talking about her underwear, Tim, that was too far.
Oh, no.
He couldn't control it anymore. And the rules, we never go past the phone.
No.
There are no rules. It's already over.
The next verse just became a lot more sinister.
Go ahead.
You're too young to be this empty, girl. I'll prepare you for a sick, dark world.
Sick, dark world!
Know that you will be my downfall, but I call and I call and I call.
He knows where this ends. Death?
So first of all, it's definitely groomy. At best, he's grooming her.
Yeah.
And he seems to be kind of blaming her to an extent. He's rationalizing that there's already something that was wrong with her before he ever met her. So whatever he does from this point is all kosher.
She basically demanded it of him in his eyes.
Right.
To be real clear. Nobody on this podcast agrees with Bemis.
No. There's also sort of the implication that he's addicted to this, which also is part of why I thought this was sort of a Dexter story.
Oh, yeah. He has a compulsion, and he had it under control. He met them on the internet, kept it to the phone. We only ever call just the once, and then we move on. But when she started talking about her underwear, Tim, those rules went right out the window. And so he just kept calling. And, eventually, calling's not going to be enough. He's going to have to meet her. We all know what's going to happen then.
Yeah, he's got to own that pancreas.
Mm-hmm. Put it in a candle.
There's a possibility after touring with Dashboard Confessional, he honed his skills.
Remind me, why would that be?
He was the candlestick maker.
Oh, that's right. Dashboard Confessional was the candlestick maker.
Yes, right. Also the girlfriend gouger.
The gouger. What was the deal with the gouging?
He loved to gouge.
Fair enough. The song continues, I don't know what I want, met you on the internet. I don't know what I want, then I lied about it.
He's lying about, I don't know what I want. He knows. We all
He's
know.
also probably lying to the authorities.
Oh, sure. Gotta lie to the authorities.
I was nowhere near that playground, sir.
Let's age it up a little bit for our own sanity.
I was nowhere near that high school, sir.
All right.
Better?
Sure, it's better, but not good.
Not great, no. You want to talk about this music video?
I do.
What in the fuck's happening?
The video has 3.7 million views. When I watched this on YouTube, at least the first time, I didn't pay attention after that. This was sponsored by TrueCar.com. Now, I don't know how YouTube videos get aligned with their advertisers, but I like to think that was on purpose. I like to think TrueCar.com saw this music video and said, yeah, that's what we want to be associated with.
That aligns with our values.
Yeah. You said he stopped performing this song in 2017.
Sometime in there, I think, right?
So up until 3 years ago, he thought this was okay.
Yeah, it was therapy therapeutic.
I'm sure it was.
Got to write about his problem.
Yeah, fair enough.
His deep, dark, horrible Chris Hansen Dateline NBC problem.
Yep.
I'm sorry, are you Squishy Whale 23? Did you say you'd, quote, bring the wine coolers? I missed that show. Have a cookie.
So uncomfortable. That's the thing. Don't ever have the cookie.
Of course not. You're about to be arrested.
Not in the early seasons, though.
No. Walked away scot-free. Off to meet another potential child nude in a grocery store or whatever the fuck it was. Fucking perverts.
So, okay, this begins with Bemis or Bemis. He kind of looks like...
An IT guy?
Yeah, an IT guy that listens to way too much Smash Mouth and kind of wants to look like that. It's like if you took the Guy Fieri or whatever that guy's name is and like smashed him into Robin Thicke and just combined that into a guy.
Well, it's because he has a stylist. He looks like the best man at an Arkansas wedding.
Yes.
Like he's cleaned up, but he's also sloppy.
Yeah.
Oh, state of Arkansas, we love you. Anyway, back to the music video. Tim, in the pantheon of things that I thought could possibly happen to help tell the story of this song, nothing that happens in this video, aside from when the butler brings out a phone, makes any sense to me.
Sure. He starts out, he's standing in front of a car that they then, I guess, hilariously advertise.
I think it's supposed to be a parody of dancing in front of a fancy car, but it's a Prius and he can't dance.
Yeah, but the girl that he's talking to...
Okay, he calls Hyderabad.
Yeah, he calls a Bollywood movie set or something.
Yes. Well, because they're in an all-white room, a la every music video from 2000. And curiously, the Bollywood movie set also is an all-white room with a few set pieces. But what happens next is mind-boggling. They begin dancing to his chorus.
Yeah.
A full-on Bollywood-style dance sequence in a similar white room to where the band is currently playing on the other side of the planet, presumably, while this man sexually harasses her. They begin dancing. And this is where he's Dane cooking all over the place.
Absolutely. Do you think that when he is calling the underaged women, allegedly,
sure,
the production values are as high, like the costuming in his mind, like what he's picturing on the other side of that phone?
Boy, I'm hesitant to try to creep into the mind of what he's picturing on the other side of that phone, too.
Fair enough. Let's move on.
If it is a full-on Bollywood-style dance sequence, we might have this guy all wrong.
No, we don't.
He's still weird, and he should still be watched, but for like really different reasons. I mean, that's all chalked up to the electric. I mean, it's not just the electric chair line, is it? Like, you get a feeling, right? We all got the same feeling. Like,
and
hey,
she's too young to be this empty.
Oh, right. Yeah.
There's a really strong implication throughout this song.
Well put. It is like the whole song's performed on a boat late at night.
But this whole music video is played as this is really fun and, for our British listeners, cheeky, but it's still real gross. Maxim.
I was curious. Is it cheeky? It's a little tongue-in-cheek, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the intention.
The problem is that he's such a dope that it's hard to discern what parts of it are him being earnest and what parts of it are him being sarcastic.
That's fair. He does like to lick things.
Yes. Well, he's being sexy, Tim.
I'm not being sexy right, I guess. Should I be licking more things?
No. He's not being sexy right. Please don't lick anything in our house. Anything.
I'm gonna lick some stuff.
I know.
Okay, so he's not being sexy. What is he being?
He's trying to be sexy.
Oh, okay.
He's being off-putting and obnoxious.
Yeah, that's accurate.
I can list all the things he is.
Yeah.
He's being unfortunately bloated. He seems like the sort of man that will grow a goatee in his late 40s.
Ooh, I like that.
To help to, give the impression of a chin or jawline.
Yeah. There's also some lingerie women on the phone.
That's right. So he calls again, right?
Also, not underage. It feels like they really got cold feet. It feels like Maxim put in a very specific request to the music video director, and he said, I'm just going to ignore this and do some weird stuff.
Maybe burn this fax. Yeah, so the second time that the chorus comes round, rather than calling Hyderabad, they call Moscow. I think it's loosely supposed to be Russian. That's what I fantasized anyway.
No,
and a bunch of scantily clad women in trench coats reveal that they have lingerie on underneath, a bunch of blonde ladies, and they all dance together. Best part of the music video, in my opinion.
Sure. He calls a nun after that.
Okay, so this might be the most accurate part of the whole music video, because whatever he says to that nun, she is disgusted by it.
Yeah.
She hangs up furiously and then stares at her phone like he just said something really gross. Which, if you folks are wondering, is that a thing? Do people call nuns and say dirty things to them? You better believe they do.
Yeah. All nuns every day get multiple phone calls of people just saying horrible things.
Mm-hmm. Real creeps.
Yeah.
Real creeps.
Yeah,
They're married to God.
Yeah. They took a vow of poverty and they took a vow of chastity, and I think there's a phone one.
Oh, no, they can use a phone.
I think they took a vow saying that they understand that they're going to get dirty phone calls every single day. And
it's like a priest in confession. Like he's going to have to hear horrible, horrible things. The nun knows she's going to be called and taunted with very sexual and graphic language on a daily basis. I hesitate to call them nun fuckers because they don't have intercourse with the nuns, but they're fucking with them, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Horrible people. Real penises.
And then Henry Winkler the goddamn Fonz shows up, Garrett.
This is so far beneath him, it sickens me that he's here. And I did a deep dive. I had to understand how the fuck did National Treasure Henry goddamn Winkler end up in this flaming pile of diaper waste. And it turns out that Max Bemis is good friends with his son, Max. They went to school together at that very rich high school.
That's a boring story. I could forgive all of that, I guess, but he lip syncs to it.
Yeah, I didn't need to see that.
The Fonz is a good man.
He's the best man. He's the nicest man in Hollywood.
Shame on you, Winkley.
No, don't shame him. Shame on Bemis.
For making him?
Yep, clearly made him. Well, I watched a behind the scenes of the making of the video, and you can tell Henry Winkler does not want to be there because he's trying desperately to be kind, but it's pure garbage, so he can't.
Yeah, well, it's your son's terrible friend's terrible band.
That's what's wrong with this generation, and what's wrong with being the world's nicest man, Henry Winkler. My father treated my friends the same way he treated me, which is to say poorly.
Yeah.
If you had asked Fred to be in your music video, you know how that ends.
I can tell you exactly how that ends because I've asked him to be in a number of Texas Toast music videos because he's got that great mustache that really would complement the mustache songs.
I've tried to convince him to do the chorus on Howdy Y'all. He just won't do it.
Because he can do that thing where he gets an almost sine wave going. He gets his upper lip moving in such a way that the mustache is dancing. And it's magnificent. If you're not careful, it will consume your soul.
I mean, small correction there. You're giving a lot of credit to the lip. I think it's the mustache that pulls the lip along.
Not having a mustache, I could not tell you.
Yeah, it's called a power stash.
He does have a powerful stash.
I can't debate you.
Yeah, no one
Stash
can.
for the ages.
Yep. It's the
Several
kind of thing. So what I really like to do is when somebody has a mustache, I like to just take my index finger while I'm talking to them and just place it over that mustache because I'm very intimidated by a man with a mustache. And I found out that they can really easily take advantage. They can get the better end of any deal if I'm negotiating with them if that mustache is there. So I just like to place my index finger over it, covering it so that I am no longer intimidated by their rugged masculinity.
Clever life hack.
Absolutely. I once tried this with your father. I don't know if I ever told you this. His mustache.
It bite you?
Well, no, I mean, sort of. Like, because I said it there. And first of all, it doesn't cover the whole mustache because it's a very bushy mustache. But the part that was on the top and the part that was on the bottom just slowly met and just covered my finger. It didn't hurt. It wasn't like it was biting. It wasn't pulling me into his head. It just exerted its dominance and it said, "You will not cover me. I will cover you." And it did.
Yeah, demanded you acknowledge its existence.
Yeah.
Power stash.
Anyway, he tricked me out of about $1,300 that day. Because again, I saw the stash. I mean, it was show's money, so I don't feel that bad.
I didn't feel bad about that. Tim, how did this do?
No idea. This was released as a single, but it did not chart anywhere as far as I can tell.
It's a great answer. Do we have any reviews?
There's 5 reviews on Amazon. This got 3.8 out of 5 stars on average, 54% 5-star, 23% 1-star, and then I got some YouTubes.
God damn it.
Emily Horde in 2018 said, "I got it for nostalgia purposes, 5 out of 5 stars.
What year?
2018.
Okay.
I need to know how old she was in 2007 and if we should call the police.
Yeah, fair.
Reginald DeCurry titled his review, Jarringly Censored. I really like the song, but the version has some obvious censorship. Only the word stoned in the first minute, but it's very jarring. If you can find an uncensored version, I highly recommend it. Just not this one. 1 out of 5 stars.
How is it censored?
Apparently the word stoned is taken out, and that's it. All the creepy sexual stuff, the
Grooming.
Yeah, the nun fuckery. That's all in there.
Oh, nun fuckery. Gross.
Okay, so let's move to YouTube. Anthony Carter, 4 years ago, said, "This song actually really strikes a chord with me. I think this song is more relevant than it was in 2003. With Tinder and technology rapidly becoming a staple in our everyday life, I think it's easier to just hook up with somebody and not want commitment. I think the song is talking about how it's so easy for him to get off and get what he wants, but maybe that's just some perpetual hell. It's not real. He obviously feels bad as it goes against his bringing up rabbis. He even says that this girl shouldn't be this corrupted at her age, but he obviously isn't helping. She shouldn't be this empty. It's actually a commentary on sexuality and guilt. It's not just some pop song, but it's still good either way. Smiley face."
This guy almost gets it. I feel bad for him because he's close. He's like, hey, this is not just a pop song. There's about deeper meaning and sexual guilt. What he doesn't get is that this man's sex is offensive.
Yeah.
And he is right to feel guilty and should go to jail.
Yes. David F., 5 years ago, said, "Max Bemis is a songwriting genius. If you think it's crap, it's probably because you don't get the meaning. Say Anything was good when they first hit the scene and still are today. This song is a high school classic."
He realizes that they were not in high school when it came out, right?
No, he does not.
I like that he poses that if you don't like it, you probably just don't get it. I think we all get it.
I don't like it because I get it.
Exactly.
If this was about any other topic, pretty much any other topic, I probably wouldn't hate it. I would just I don't care. It's a crappy pop punk or whatever genre you want to attach to this. This is pretty fly for a white guy with slightly less irritating vocals.
Or more.
Or more, depending. One more here. 4 months ago, Corey Davis said, "This is my quarantine song."
Oh no.
That guy,
get out, Corey.
Get out everyone that Corey is speaking to online. He's much older than he's admitting.
And then laughing about it later while he jerks off.
Okay. After dark.
Oh, right. Good reviews, Tim. Who's this for?
If it's a warning of what not to do, everybody. If it's not, which it is not, then nobody.
I don't think I can put it better than that.
Corey Davis? It's for Corey Davis in quarantine while he does his bad thing and listens to another guy who did a bad thing in 2007.
Maybe that's how he avoids his bad thing, by listening to the song about this horrible thing. The people who recommended this, we would have gone our whole lives without ever hearing this.
Yeah, shame on you.
It's like pedo pop.
I like that. No, let me rephrase. I like the name you gave it. Jesus Christ, this is pedo pop.
I guess that brings us to final thoughts. Is there anything we have not said about this song that ought to be said before we ask the big question?
Nope.
Great. Then, Tim, I ask, after we've been all the way through it, though I suspect I know the answer, do you still hate this song?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do. It is, like you said, pedo pop. I can't get behind that.
Fair.
What about you, Gary? Do you hate this song?
God, I hate you. Yes, of course I do. You put it perfectly. If not for the content of the song, I don't care it. Because this song is pedo pop, yeah, of course I fucking hate it. It's about this man suppressing the urge to seduce, we'll say, 17-year-old women just to make it better.
Yes, but that's not the case.
Of course not. Alrighty. That brings us to listener mail.
Garrett, I have an update from the email that you read last Prepisode. This is from the Candlestick Maker. It is called Update 4. You made a big mistake in reading me on the potty. Now he's aware that I am assisting you two vagina faces. I 100% believe that Tim went to high school or college, I can't remember what he said, with this thing, as it was almost definitely collecting data on him for future reference. Also, I believe him to be in Texas now, so I'd advise you two to get the fuck out. Stay posted, the Candlestick Maker. Now, I don't remember what this was about exactly. I didn't go back and read them. I think there's some sort of agent that's coming to Texas for us? Is that the case?
I don't know.
Let me see here real quick, because I need to know who he is before I know how to react to this.
I don't think he was specific. I think he just said someone was coming.
He goes by the name of Agent 5.22, and he can shift voices and physical appearances like nothing you've ever seen in any sort of media. Did you read this part?
Right. Yeah, of course I did.
Okay.
How could I not? Well, okay. Yes, you're right.
So that's the he that is apparently now in Texas, and we should maybe get out.
Interesting. I'm glad you read that email because, Tim, I have a related email.
Oh, another from the candlestick maker. I'm excited.
Nope. This is from someone going by the name Agent 7.01.
Okay.
The title is Be Aware in all caps.
Okay.
Listen, there's no time to fuck around. You got yourself into a big mess by interacting with the candlestick makers, plural, oh god. They are a ruthless group of rebels whose goal is to take us down. Unclear who us is.
The agents, presumably.
Right, unclear who they are. The candlestick makers used to be a part of the organization I work with, but they betrayed us and created the Candlestick Maker Organization. Yes, Agent 5.22 is a part of our organization, but he is not coming for you two because he is coming for a candlestick maker who also lives in Austin. I've said too much. They now know our battle plans. Just know, don't trust the candlestick makers. Signed, Agent 7.01.
Okay. So,
what's happening?
I think the candlestick makers and the agents just got added to a list that the Cowboys are going to have to watch, if not exterminate.
Great. That's fantastic for the wonderful world that is this show. But on a slightly more serious note, who's coming for us and why? Because this is all based off of you and I inventing a serial killer known as the Candlestick Maker that encases people in giant candles and lights them ablaze.
Did we invent it? I don't think so. I think this is a real guy.
Well, I think it's a whole fleet of people that are a splinter group of what used to be known as Agent 5. something something, because they all have different decimals now. Tim, what's happening? Listeners, if anyone knows what's happening and your name is not Agent anything or Candlestick Maker, write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. I want to know what's happening. Are we safe?
I'm just going to go ahead and alert the Cowboys just to be sure.
I do not feel any safer with your weird cowboy sex cult.
It's not a sex cult. There is a very sexual branch of it, but it's not a sex cult. It's about the cowboy lifestyle. It's about cowboy accoutrement. It's about keeping the world safe from ninjas, samurai, and pirates and dandies and daddies and agents and candlestick makers and chain smokers and Andrew WKs. There's a whole list of people that the Cowboys are currently suppressing.
I'm furious that you just took me all the way through that again. You fucking tell me that like 6 times a day. I know who they are, and I still think that's just a cult of men that fuck.
Sure, there's a lot of that, but only once the Andrew WKs of the world have been subdued.
Right.
He's a threat.
Not vanquished, subdued.
Well, you watch the Batman movies, right?
I've seen them, yes.
You don't want the escalation, right? Once there's an official cowboy organization that's just killing pirates and dandies and daddies and chain smokers.
Please stop listing them all.
The point is that
what is the point?
If you get rid of those people, there's going to be an escalation. Something worse is going to fill the void, and we don't want that. We know what we're fighting. We just keep them subdued.
So you're saying
keep them off our shores. We fight them over there, so we don't have to fight them over here.
So you're saying you're not the cowboy sex cult we need. You're the cowboy sex cult we deserve.
Other way around.
I never really followed those Batman movies.
Yeah, it was a confusing saying.
Why do we fall down, Mastermind? Tim, that brings us to music news of the weird. You want to kick us off, or you want me to?
You can go ahead.
All right, Tim. Did you know last Friday kicked off the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally in Sturgis, South Dakota?
Oh, this is a sad story.
Well, much to the chagrin of the local residents and most medical professionals, the motorcycle show and roller derby event was voted to be held with, did you know this? Also live concerts every night.
Hold on. I think the most surprising thing is that it is a motorcycle rally / roller derby.
Well, it's a motorcycle rally with racing and roller derby events, and also live concerts.
Now, how prominent are these roller derby events?
What is your deal with roller derby events? Do you want me to take you to the roller derby? Is that what this is?
No, roller derby is also on the cowboy list of people to subdue.
Okay, I cannot support
They're there
that.
with ninjas and samurai.
No, stop it. Scheduled to perform at the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, Buck Cherry, Lit, Quiet Riot, and enemy of the show, Trapped. But if that gaggle of assholes isn't enough, headlining just this previous Sunday as we recorded, Smash Mouth. And Tim, thousands of people were in attendance to see Smash Mouth Sunday night. Luckily, the organizers of the event made it incredibly clear to all attendees that hand sanitizer was to be made readily available, social distancing was to be observed, and of course a face mask would be required to enter the pavilion and see the show. What no one considered, though, was that the vast majority of attendees at the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally don't give a fuck about any of your stupid rules, and they're going to do whatever they want. So, making matters worse is the fact that so many tickets were sold to the event that they were able to sell out the entire arena, making any sort of actual social distancing literally impossible. Just enjoy the fact that while Smash Mouth is singing, "My world's on fire, how about yours?" thousands of older Americans were sharing a contagion that will undoubtedly kill a number of them on their ride home.
Well, that's sad. I will say this for Trapped, though. They did not contribute to the spread of coronavirus that weekend.
How do you know?
Because I saw pictures of their concert and nobody went.
Why would you? Who booked that?
I assume people were like, well, the bikers, Trump's got the bikers, Trump's got Trapped. This is a natural combination. People at Sturgis will love Trapped.
Yeah, turns out nobody loves Trapped.
Also, I apologize to the bikers that listen to the show. I'm not saying that Trump has you. That is a thing Trump said. Prove him wrong.
If there is a hell, it will be Sturgis, South Dakota, for me. Just being there with all those motorcycles constantly revving. I can't stand it. Why does it have to be so loud? Tim, what you got?
Well, along the same lines, Garrett, despite our current plague life, some bands, other than the ones you mentioned, are not helping the situation and are not being responsible in the way that we would hope. A couple of weeks ago, the Chainsmokers did a show in the Hamptons, slightly different crowd, I think, than Sturgis, with CEO of Goldman Sachs doing some DJ work because he is a part-time DJ and also very cool. He goes by the name David DJ D Solo Solomon, or possibly just DJ D Solo. Anyway, a shit ton of people showed up, some of whom paid upwards of $25,000 for a ticket. Now, the concert required attendees to sit around basically in their cars, but that didn't really take because videos of the concert clearly show just hundreds of people crowded together dancing to the music of DJ D Solo and the slightly worse music of the Chainsmokers, who again are on a cowboy watch list. Andrew Cuomo was pretty pissed about this and is promising a Department of Health investigation.
Fun.
What else you got, Gary?
Man, keeping the not-so-fun news going, the National Board of SAG-AFTRA recently reprimanded Los Angeles local president Patricia Richardson for refusing to remove a member of the local sexual harassment committee.
Oh, I love her. She played Tim Allen's wife on Home Improvement.
Correct. Anyway, even though the board says that she had received detailed complaints from women who had been subjected to or witnessed the sexual harassment and abuse and assault by a committee member, the board resolution does not identify who that committee member was, but Deadline has been able to learn through multiple sources that it is friend of the show, Corey Feldman. He, of course, did recently step down from the committee on June 26th amid the mounting pressure for him to do so. Feldman replied to the accusations, of course, with a statement of his own. Felddog says, quote, "As a victim of sexual predators and an avid spokesperson on behalf of victims everywhere, I welcome an investigation. Beyond that, I don't care to dignify the alleged claims of women who have been stalking me and harassing me endlessly for some time, for which I have contacted police. My team and I have been tracking their movements for a very long time and have recordings and emails along with eyewitnesses who will attest to the fact that this is all part of a covert operation to discredit, defame, and ignore the claims that I have been making for decades, which have not been investigated by the LAPD or the DA of California." Folks may remember that Corey Feldman did have several women whom he kept hostage, employed. that he referred to as his angels. They lived with him, of course, constantly wore lingerie, and did not by any means have to have sex with him as a part of the arrangement. Of course, they all did, but that was because they wanted to and felt zero pressure whatsoever to do so.
Sure.
What else you got, Tim?
In name-changing news this week, Lady A, the country band, is keeping the Lady A name, and Lady A, the black blues singer who has had the Lady A name for over 20 years, is also keeping the name, or at least until a court forces her to give it to the woke country band that is just trying to do right by all black people except Lady A, the black blues singer. Because, Garrett, they are suing her. It's sort of for the right to the name, sort of not. So this is one of those things like the Robin Thicke, Pharrell Williams suing preemptively.
Oh, it's preemptive.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think basically they're not suing her for any money or the exclusive right to the name. It's just a preemptive lawsuit to prevent her from suing them and getting money or the exclusive right to the name. I don't understand the U.S. legal system, but I feel like we should all tell Lady A to go back to being Lady Antebellum.
Right. We can all just as easily not listen to Lady Antebellum as we are going to not listen to Lady A.
The band.
And then the woman, right, the band. And then the woman who has been known as that for her entire professional existence can go back to having her professional career undisturbed by a bunch of social justice, cultural signaling, dumb cunts.
Also, Garrett, the Dixie Chicks will be changing their name to the Chicks.
Great. All racial inequality has been resolved.
Yes.
Thanks, Dixie Chicks. Perfect.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Chicks.
Their new album, Gaslighter, we'll get back to that, has changed its album artwork since I actually first found out about this story to get rid of the Dixie part. So the album name now seems weirdly appropriate since they want us to forget their previous band name.
Yeah, also just there are things that need to change in this country drastically. And I think most of us all agree on what those are. But whether or not the Dixie Chicks, a band that was mildly popular in 2000 before they became
very popular.
Very popular in 2000 before they ostracized their entire country-loving jingoistic audience by not supporting the invasion of a country that had done nothing to us. Nobody cares, Dixie Chicks. Once again, we can just as easily not listen to the Dixie Chicks as we're going to not listen to the Chicks. Nobody cares.
This might change your mind, Garrett. That album will heavily feature Jack Antonoff, former beau of Miss Lena Dunham, former moral compass and woke North Star of this very show.
Yeah, she's dead to me.
Oh.
We worship at the altar of Goldblum.
Oh, fair enough. Garrett, what other news do you have?
My last story today, Tim, is a fun one for once. I'm going to end on a high note. In not that recent, but still very interesting music news that is weird, let me tell you a little story about Jimmy Page. In 1970, musical rocker Jimmy Page lost his 1960 Les Paul custom Gibson electric guitar. He was on tour when it disappeared from a baggage claim on a flight into Minneapolis. This was a very special guitar with several custom modifications and meant a great deal to Page. He ran ads in Rolling Stone. He would search guitar shops anytime he toured the U.S. and never found this guitar. Then, in 1992, a guy shows up to a guitar shop in Minneapolis and says, I have Jimmy Page's guitar. I just bought it from the widow of a baggage handler that stole it for $5,500. They examine the guitar, they take it to another shop, and the guy says, I don't know what the fuck this lady told you. It's a nice guitar, and it's definitely worth at least $5,500, but this is not Jimmy Page's guitar. So the guy says, cool, well, I don't need it. I'll sell it to you for cost. And the guy buys it. So the guy that works at this guitar shop also happens to be part of the Twin Cities power pop trio Propeller. And he uses that guitar for the next 15 years. Then in 2014, he takes it to a shop to get it fixed up because it's beaten to holy hell. The owner of that shop is far more thorough in examining the beat-up guitar. He puts it under a black light, which allows him to see two things. One, a serial number that nobody could have seen with the new lacquer that had been applied over the years. And two, several modifications to the guitar had been covered up and reversed so that you couldn't see that there was a lot of custom work done on it. The guy knew instantly it was Jimmy Page's guitar. He reaches out and rather than be a dickhead, he just says, you know what? Jimmy Page should own this guitar. The guy who plays for the Propellers is like, abso-fucking-lutely. And they never even meet Jimmy Page, never even get a thank you. But 45 years after he lost it, through an interim, Jimmy Page got his guitar back.
What a dick.
Yeah, not shocking based on some of the other stories I've heard.
Well, I mean, he didn't kidnap them and take them across the country to bang them.
What are you alluding to?
We will get there.
We will. What else you got, Tim?
In my last story, I would also like to do something uplifting. This is Smash Mouth news, and I don't know if everyone knows this, but Guy Fieri, lead singer of Smash Mouth, was born in Columbus, Ohio.
I knew that.
Well, okay, I don't know if all our listeners know that, Garrett. I forget that you're a native of Columbus, Ohio, and know everyone from there. The point
Tim,
is...
I like a good joke, but don't besmirch my fucking name like that. I'm not from Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, Cleveland. It's right next door.
They're very different.
That's fair. You got that water view. The point is, there are quite a few people that would like the name Columbus to not be associated with Columbus, Ohio anymore, and there is a petition currently to rename the town in honor of Guy Fieri. I don't know.
I 100% support this.
Garrett, they want to rename it Flavortown, Ohio. Listeners,
yes!
Listeners, please go out and sign this petition. We can have Flavortown, Ohio. Every day, all day, constantly, every inch of that town, you can hear Smash Mouth playing. Everything is dangerously spicy. All hair is by law the Guy Fieri hair. Every man must have a goatee.
They must wear a bowling shirt with flames on it.
Absolutely. Men and women. Let's get this done.
What are you enjoying there? A chocolate sundae? Looks like that chocolate sundae could use some donkey sauce.
Ooh, we could replace their entire water source with donkey sauce.
All the water fountains at the local school and parks just have a thick, sludgy donkey sauce. But don't worry, we heat that donkey sauce to a searing 168 degrees.
Please go out and sign this petition. We can have donkey sauce for all the children of Ohio. Or, excuse me, all the children of Flavortown, Ohio. Do you think it would be Flavorton?
No.
Okay.
It's Flavortown.
They're not going to be pretentious about it?
No. Their airport still has carpet, for God's sake.
I don't know what that means.
You will someday. Great final story for Music News of the Weird. Tim, that brings me to my favorite part of the episode where we let the listeners know what album are we going to be talking about next time we get together.
Well, Garrett, I don't think this is going to be your favorite part of this episode because next week we are dipping our toes and other various appendages back into Fred Durst's Limp Bizkit well. We're going to be listening to Chocolate Starfish and the Anus-Flavored Toilet Water. What did you call it?
God, no. Chicken-flavored dirt water? I don't know. Toilet-flavored duck pond? I don't know what this place is called.
Whatever. We're going to be listening to the album, the Chocolate Starfish one. It's got the anus on the front of it and the starfish.
2 years after we visited, almost to the day. I don't know if that's true. Don't look it up. 2 years, almost to the day. Take my word for it. After we did Limp Bizkit, we returned. Smarter, wiser, braver, angrier, cowboyer.
I am significantly cowboy-er than I was
Correct.
The last biscuit.
That's for sure. And we're going to talk about it, folks. It's a long album, and I'm very curious to see what the second pass is. I don't know nearly as many of the songs on here as I did with the first album. What about you, Tim?
I looked at the track list a little bit before I decided to spring this on you. There are a number of songs that appear to be cover songs, but are not.
How's that work?
Well, you've got a My Generation, you've got a My Way, but they're not The Who, and they're not Frank Sinatra. They're Biscuit originals.
So Dursty.
They're Limp originals.
Oh, I'm super curious if he'll have had sex by the time he recorded this album.
I don't think so, because, he's still naming it for, buttholes and dicks.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he is still in the mindset he was with Significant Other.
100% Virgin Town?
Probably. What
Exciting.
town? We could have Jacksonville, Florida. Let's Jackson wasn't a great guy either. Let's rename that, Virginville.
Virginville. That's where he's from, Jacksonville?
I believe so.
I don't like Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, no one does.
Prove me wrong, listeners. All right, Tim, I think that brings us to the end of the show. As always, folks, if you can, please rate the show. Go out on iTunes, give us the 5 stars, get it out of the way, say some kind words, say some weird words, say some horrible words. We don't care. Just throw the 5 stars up there. Get that done. That's the hard part. Done. Easy. Done. then say whatever you want. We read every one of them, and if they're weird enough, we're going to feature them here on this show. So we'll keep an eye out. You guys have been doing a really good job with them. We need a few more, though. Keep them coming. The second best thing you can do is recommend the show to somebody. If you think they're going to like it, tell them to pick an episode where they know one of the albums, know one of the songs. It's a good place to start. If you want to reach out to us, and God, we want to hear from you, you can go to hatepod.com, and there's contact us in the upper left-hand corner. Ask for an email address. We don't do anything with it. We just use it to reply. If you want to just reach out directly, we're hatePodMail@gmail.com. Easy as that. And we want to hear from you. Tell us your theories, your weird stories about when this song or album came out. We love the musical submissions. We love the art. We feature it all on our Instagram, which is hatepod, our Twitter, which is album hatepod. You can go to facebook.com/hatepod, although that's quickly becoming a wasteland. I don't know what's going on there. Did I mention that you can go to hatepod.com and every episode we've ever done in every format you could possibly want is there? You ought to go out there. You can even download the episode, remix it, and send it back in, and we'll feature it right here on the show. There's Discord, there's Reddit. That's about it, right?
Yeah. Also, if you are an agent or a candlestick maker, please keep your gangland-style executions away from us. You can kill each other all over Austin, but I'm not going to tell you where it is because it seems like you already know. Maybe like a mile radius around our house. Leave that out.
Yeah. We will not take kindly to public appearances. Do not interfere in our real lives. You will not like the end result. You know what? No, it sounds like I'm threatening them. That's that's not what I'm doing.
I think we should. I think we should threaten them. Stay out of our lives. I don't think we're there yet.
Well, yes, please stay out of our lives or else. No, wait. No, that is, I don't think you can do that.
No, you get the idea.
Wink.
Yeah.
All right. For Why I Hate This Album, I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been the other, the funny one.
That's getting cut.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. Well, I joined the Navy. I got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. I try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is the genius got it wrong. Well, it's a lobster murder sex thing, the bleaching of her hair, full of salt on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides, the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now the week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast. Tim and Garrett.